Hello, everybody! Welcome back to another episode of Hardship Troopers. It's been a minute, but I am still Steven Strom, and I am joined, as I was in the past, by one Imran Khan.
Hello.
Hello! And one Merritt K.
Howdy.
How are you both doing?
I feared Jacinto was going to be sunk by a giant worm.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Merritt?
No, what's that?
That's from Gears 2. That is the crux of Gears 2's plot, is that a giant worm is sinking cities.
So, is this the one with the Funko Pops?
That is a different game. That was a mobile game.
Okay.
Which got canceled immediately after it came out.
I thought that was the case with that, yeah.
And I'm just hitting the tweets, or at least hitting the one tweet from my phone right now. And then I'm going to see if I can kick you the good stream. Let's see how this goes. Let's see how Gears Tactics feels about this. Watch this. That's Stolen Valor. I can't say watch this. Okay.
It occurs to me I don't know who made this game, and I'm going to look that up.
The Coalition.
Did they?
I actually have no idea.
No. It was
No?
Splash Damage.
Splash Damage,
Flash
yeah.
damage. What did they do?
I know they made the Wolfenstein and Quake enemy territory games. What else did they do?
No. Does
Dirty
not
Bomb, I remember.
does not appear I'm going to be able to give you the good stream on this one without making the whole computer go bad.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll just watch
That's fine,
it.
it's tactics.
Yeah, it's tactics.
Importantly, Merritt, they made Brink.
Oh, okay. Well, I've
Yeah.
never but
Brink is like the best example I've heard of like everyone literally being on board for a game, and then 2 days later being like, "Oh wow, this is not good. This is not a good video game."
I get Brink confused with something else, I think. What was the one where you were like sliding around and
That is
shooting?
Brink, I think.
There's another one. I think there's another one, something. It's like maybe 2 words. It was like really well regarded. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure someone in chat will. There's
No.
Vanquish.
Not Vanquish. No, it was like. Wait, what were you gonna say?
Brink was super well regarded. Everybody loved it.
Yeah. Okay, no, this was like it was like an outdoors thing, and like you're on an island or something, and your guns do really doofy things, and it was just wacky. I don't know. I'll have to look up like.
Fuse. Oh, on an island.
There's so many 2010s shooters that just occupy the same spot in my mind.
Crisis?
No, it was later.
Okay.
But yeah, all these games, Fuse, like whatever, they're all just like the same game to me in my brain. I don't know if your chat window thing is working.
Yeah, it's working. It's just I've got it behind the overlay, I
It is
think.
behind, yeah.
Let me fix that. Chat box. Rock the chat box.
It is not Titanfall, Xenophon. I definitely remember Titanfall. Played a lot of Titanfall too.
Okay, the stream gets sick anytime I tab out, so it looks like it's
Storm.
working.
Yes.
Bulletstorm.
Bulletstorm.
I like
Had a-
Bulletstorm.
Had a crossover
I like
with
Bulletstorm.
Duke Nukem, I think.
Yeah, they're both Gearbox published, right? Is that wrong?
Bulletstorm wasn't at the time. It is now.
Okay.
At the time, it was an EA Partners game.
Oh! Was the Duke Nukem crossover later? Was that added for that
Yeah.
HD remake?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Have you seen all of these like
Throw that in the trash.
Duke Nukem? Have you seen like the whole Duke Nukem meme like trend?
Of
in the
like
last,
on TikTok and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. There's a guy who does them. I think his name's Gianni Mastriana or something. But YouTube keeps showing them to me, and it's always just him just like saying, I think what it is someone writes the tweets or like makes the images, and then this guy just voices all of them. Like this guy named Kino Fabino writes all the tweets, and then this other guy voices them.
See, I didn't realize that wasn't John St. John. I just thought he was fun.
No, it's just a voice actor who is really good at this stuff.
Huh, okay.
And yeah, all his videos are just like Duke being a himbo, basically.
Do you think John St. John has anything going on in his life besides Duke Nukem?
Oh boy.
He does a bunch of characters in Dota 2. Maybe you've heard of it.
Does he really?
Yeah, he's at least Axe.
With a name like John St. John, I feel like the fact that you didn't... That sounds like a porn name.
Yeah,
you know? John St. John.
John St.
Wait,
John.
what? Also,
he's
Big the Cat,
He's Big the Cat.
E102 Gamma, and E123 Omega, and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, what else?
Big Red Racing.
Twisted Metal.
Well, he is a character named John Dudebro in Dudebro 2 that is unreleased, it says.
That was a game being made by NeoGaf, so I don't know if that still exists.
I see.
I would doubt it.
Oh. Oh, right! He's in the Ion Fury, Ion Maiden, Bombshell games.
They're, the boomer shooters?
Yeah.
The one that had, like, the gay slur, I think, that they just... Or something like that, that they, like, refused to take out. Or they took it out and then they added back in later.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, I, like, vaguely remember something about that.
I reviewed the top-down shooter that was, like, the first game in that universe that they made, Bombshell.
All of those games, too, now occupy the same space in my mind, because, I mean, I'm sure many of them are good, but, like, they all look the same to me. They're all just, like, sorry, I know that's not politically correct to say, but, like, all of these, like, old-school corridor shooters, like, all basically look the same, which I guess is the point, but, like...
But it does feel like I blinked and there was 12 of those.
It does. Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I think what it is a lot of them were in development for a long time, and they were all just like they're all just coming out now.
Yeah.
But then also you're getting stuff of like, oh, this is a new trend, like we can jump on this.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's gonna happen with any kind of thing that becomes vaguely popular.
I mean, like you saw it with really hard platformers. You saw it with. I mean, you still see really hard platformers because platformers are easy to make,
right?
Easier than a lot of things. What would your dream indie game trend be? Like, if there was like a genre that became really popular and people were just cranking out versions of it, like what would it be?
I would love like a new puzzle. Like, I feel like we don't get interesting new ideas in puzzle games anymore. Like there's been a decent number of puzzle games over the years, but the last one I remember like really being like, oh, this is some new shit, is Meteos.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Wow, Meteos was good.
Make more Meteos indie games.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if we've... I mean, there was that game that came out, I want to say last year, that like Y2K aesthetic.
Oh, Crossnick?
Game. Come on. Crossnick, yeah. Join the party. That was cool.
Yeah.
I didn't play a ton of it, but it was pretty cool. You
also were playing that like Weaving Tides, is that what it's called?
Oh, yeah.
That seemed cool.
Hoopscallion says Baba is you. God, can you imagine if that became like a trend, just like the most difficult, bizarre game to make?
Just weird sort of logic twisting games.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, most recently, I think Boomer Shooters was like the most recent big one, but like, you know, before that, there was like survival games, and then there was like roguelikes.
I would like more Darkest Dungeon likes. I think that's like a genre unto itself at a certain point, consisting of exactly one game and like 2 knockoffs. But like management driven difficult tactics game where if you lose the problem isn't that you just like completely lose the game like an XCOM or something. It's you have to build up your forces from the beginning. XCOM is kind of the same way, I guess. Or like a Subnautica, like survival exploration games that are like not combat focused. I'm way into like Astroneer,
like Astroneer, or Raft.
Yeah, even No Man's Sky to a certain degree.
do not have the patience to play those games, but I like watching other people break them in really horrific ways. Because those games, you can just do some really goofy stuff in them typically, and same with like strategy planning type things.
Yeah.
Any like roller coaster tycoon type thing, or like hospital or whatever like that.
There's that 2 Point University coming out soon.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sure people are excited about that. Like that 2 Point Hospital sold really well.
It did. It did. People really like that stuff. I've watched a few videos, like a few gameplay videos of people playing it.
Get into cover, Diaz. You forget how to fight in the
Scallion
motorpool?
says, I want more Battle Network type stuff, like One Step from Eden. A
Hmm.
friend of mine was working on one of these years ago about like a witch who was
I've got a clear
like
line
casting
on this
spells
drone.
and stuff, and that's what the
Engaging now.
cards were. And I don't know if that just like fell off.
Oh, I think I remember that. I think I
Yeah,
remember
it
seeing
was
something like that.
Bloody Honey was
Yeah.
their name. So I don't
Target
know
down.
what's going on with
One
that.
more in
but-
range.
I'm surprised those games never got like a re-release of any kind.
That is weird, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would potentially play them if they did. Because I know I could just play them on a GBA emulator now, but, like,
Damn.
I don't know, if they were
Ropes dug in.
re-released,
We need
it's
to
like,
flank 'em. Roger
yeah,
that.
I'd give them a
Move
shot.
into position.
At least the first couple of them.
I think I have all of them on my Super
Quick
GBA.
now.
Mm.
Okay.
Now, what is happening, and, why Gears Tactics in particular?
What is happening right now, I think, is they're going to... It's a prequel, because they're going to drop the Hammer of Dawn for the first time. I think. They're going to blow up a bunch of stuff, and to kill the Locust? The Locust, that's what they're called. And our guys were, like, sheltering in place, waiting for, the big orbital strike to come down. And this guy, Diaz, is an engineer, and then this other guy says, I need you for one last job. We need to go get some documents out of a building. And he's like, okay, I'll go help you with this crap. I don't wanna, but we'll go get them. And Gears Tactics, because it is one of the most XCOM-like games I could think of that's, like, very visually appealing, and Imran has suggested it a couple of times now.
Because I've always been very curious about it. Like, this seems like it should be a game that's kind of like, I don't dislike Gears. I really enjoyed those first couple of games, and like there's a lot about the universe that I like, but
Sure.
I've never been sure about this game specifically.
So the thing I remember hearing about with this game a lot was that it's got the moment-to-moment combat of an XCOM, but it doesn't have any of, like, the base management stuff. And that was, like, something that was really missing for a lot of people. But it also means that I think this game will be pretty quick to complete, which is another reason to play it. It's just like, oh, you know, get back
Yeah,
into the
that's
swing.
cool. Knock one off the list.
Yeah.
Now, what are these nasty trolls?
They're locusts, right? Is
Yeah,
that
they're
what called?
locusts. This is
Where
what
do they
locusts
come
look
from
like.
the center of the earth?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they hate oil.
They hate oil?
Yeah.
Oh, were they awoken because people were drilling for oil?
Yes, right? I have not played Gears 5. I think some of that stuff might be addressed in Gears 5.
Maybe. My recollection of the story of Gears is that the big twist in the first game was humans were the invaders on the planet.
Yeah.
Like, they just kind of colonized this planet where
Right,
This is not
the humans
Earth.
already lived.
No, yeah. I remember that.
I think Gears 5 gets into the idea that, like, the Locust are genetic experiments or something, though. They're like, they maybe are people.
Huh.
I've not played 5. I played 4. 4 has some stuff. Most abilities, like moving and shooting, require actions, which is this big circle. Some abilities, such as moving a long distance, can cost multiple actions. Each unit has 3 actions that can be split between movement, shooting, and skills. Okay?
Hammer strikes aren't
Happy
gonna wait
Irma
for us.
says that
Finish off these grubs so we can get to the
there's some cool
CIC.
tweaks on the
Won't even
tactics
break a
paradigm
sweat.
in this game, and you can build the feeling of momentum in skirmishes, which seems cool.
Cool. Okay, I'm excited to see that.
I remember being like, they announced it, and it's like, all right, cool. This is only coming to PC. It's like that was an odd choice. And then
Yeah.
I think a
Right.
year later, it actually did end up coming to Xbox. But I haven't heard anyone talk about it beyond that initial PC release.
Contact.
We had a review podcast on the Channel F podcast network. If anybody would ever like to go read that, read that podcast. I guess you could if we get like a transcription of it.
Have you heard about that discrete thing, like that service?
Discreet? No.
So it is I imagine it's like a Zencaster or whatever kind of thing that you have people who are on a podcast read a script before they record. Then they actually do record the podcast, and what it does is it auto-transcribes what people are saying. But most interestingly, if you delete something in the text, it deletes it in the audio as well. And if you delete or add something into the text, then it will deep fake the voice to add it into the audio.
Oh no, that's horrible.
Oh no.
You can Anthony Bourdain all.
No.
God. I mean, honestly, that would save us a lot of money. If we could just like get, if I could just sign my likeness away, it would save the company a lot of money to like not have to like pay me anymore. And like as management, I'm always thinking about this kind of stuff, how to cut costs and
kind of how to cut yourself out of the equation.
Well, it's like that episode of 30 Rock where Jenna gets a producer credit and is so good at firing people that she realizes she has to fire herself as producer because it doesn't make sense for the show to have two producers.
I think there is a certain opportunity cost there, though, Merritt, because, like, how much do we lose out by not having you compared to how much you would get from, like, removing you from the podcast production?
I mean, you can just do a fake Twitter account. You could, like, wow, those guys are just having a little snack.
Yeah, they're just eating that guy. That guy's Carmine, right?
Wretch. Carmine? Isn't Carmine alive?
There's like 3 Carmine brothers.
There's a
I
bunch,
think.
yeah.
Oh. I'm Carmine the Fourth.
I want to say
Carmine.
In the 3rd game, Cliffy B held a Twitter poll to be like, should we just let this one live?
It's weirder than that.
Oh, please go ahead.
It was... Yeah, it's a running joke that there's always a Carmine, there's always a Lighthouse. Carmine always dies, and they're all brothers. And then for Gears of War 3, they sold, I think for 99 cents, shirts on the Xbox Live Avatar Marketplace.
Oh my god.
One of which said, "Save Carmine," and was blue, I think. And then one of which said, "Carmine must die," and was red. And that one sold overwhelmingly more, and whichever one won would be the one that like they decided to do in game. And so obviously they killed him because obviously everybody voted to kill him.
Oh, but he survived that game. That's the thing.
In 3?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he gets cut in half. He gets eaten by the big monster.
I remember him being like in a helicopter at the end and like taking a shot at somebody.
That was Carmine 4.
Wow. Wow, I cannot believe they did like the American Idol to vote for Carmine dying. Press 1. Or like the what was that in the 90s? Was it Superboy or
Superboy?
No, there was some comics thing in the 90s where it was just like, should this character die? Yeah, Jason Todd.
Jason Todd, right? Yeah.
The wiki
the
has
Red Hood.
individual articles for each Carmine. This is taking
Wait,
long.
oh my god.
On the regular Wikipedia or the Gears Wikipedia?
The Gears Wikipedia.
Okay, I was gonna say, wow.
Scanning for grubs now.
God, do you ever think about how Hideo Kojima was right in Metal Gear Solid 2? Just like
Oh.
the whole thing at the end of like, yeah, new access to information and technology is cool, except people will just use it to like fixate on the like most pointless things and just become sucked into this stuff, and it's like, and just like gestures to like wikis.
Okay, use F2 to select the snub pistol, then use 4 to select disabling shot. Okay. Disabling shot. The shot will interrupt enemy overwatch. Got it. That's interesting.
You got the Trace Buster.
Yeah. Okay, now move Sid.
You'll be fine as long as they don't have a Trace Buster.
As long as they don't have a Snork Eater.
Yeah.
All our Snorks are fine. Okay. Okay, and then I think I can just kill the Wretch. Cool.
Wretch down. Time to finish off that drone.
Oh God, I've talked about this podcast before, but I don't think either of you have listened to it. Have either of you ever listened to Important If True?
No.
they had a whole thing on there called like where they like had somebody write in about how like they had gone onto Wikipedia and added Wax House Baby as an alternate possible title for the 2000s remake of Wax House starring Paris Hilton.
Uh-huh.
And they came in and wrote about like how that, you know, they got onto Wikipedia, nobody caught it because he specifically chose a movie that nobody gave a shit about, and then like made a change to it like 8 years later, so nobody decided to fact check it. Added a fake link to like a Toronto newspaper that didn't go anywhere, but like people just assumed, oh, the link is broken, but clearly this is real, a real article that they're linking to. And over years, that Wikipedia entry and that like fake link that never actually went anywhere got used and cited in other stories about like about how the original title was called Wax House Baby.
Disinformation.
Hoop Scallion says, I want Important If True back so badly, and me every day. It's every day of my life.
There was some game rumor or something I made up like 15 years ago on the internet. And it's still considered common wisdom. I don't want to say exactly what it is because I don't want people to like go back to it.
You don't want to ruin it.
I completely made it up and I said it on some message board, and it is now just common wisdom people repeat.
Oh my god.
No one ever asked the people involved.
Do you not want to reveal what it is?
I do not want to reveal what it is. No.
Tell us privately.
This
is like it's like the guy who wrote a whole thing about how there is a female street shark.
Roxy.
Yeah. Do you know that there's a Wikipedia page listing all of the times that someone has done
like
things like that on
like a Wikipedia false flag?
Yeah. I mean, obviously only the known ones, but there's like
Right?
quite a few.
I bet. I wonder if Wax House Baby is on there. It has to be at this point.
When did that happen?
Get to the CIC before we're flash fried.
2018, 19, like that. It happened probably before then, but it was on that episode of Important If True in like 2018, 17.
I'm
So
looking through it.
Gabe and Sid must survive.
It's really funny to me, like these little things that have these huge reverberations. I mean, not huge, right? Like not earth-shaking, but like...
Right.
Shit, my weapon's dry. Gotta reload.
Yeah. Mike Trout's nickname. Okay, so someone gave Mike Trout a made-up nickname, and then media started using it.
What?
They started calling him the Millville Meteor. It was just made up.
That's a good name, though.
Yeah.
The Millville Meteor.
I'm ready.
And he was like, all right. Yeah.
Oh, he kept it? Did he just start using it?
Well, media started using it, and I guess he was like not upset about it or whatever, so.
That reminds me, was it an MMA fighter recently? Danielle would probably know the answer to this. But there was like a guy who they had hacked his producer's phone or something like that, or had like stolen their phone number, and his producer got like, or manager or something got his phone number changed, but just never told his the guy, or the guy never realized or missed it or something. So like, or I think it was the other way around, because he was like, what do you want for your music, for your entrance music? And he said like, oh, I want this, like this just horrible 80s like crappy pop song, sappy song or whatever. I was like, you got it. And then just every fight he would come into that music, and every fight he was like, what the fuck is this? Why am I walking out to this entrance music?
That's pretty great. Steven, this may interest you. I was the other night I just found myself really obsessed with trying to find out what happened to Joker's Trick.
Oh yeah?
And when you search Joker's Trick, this was my search results on Google, so it probably was boosting Fanbite. But your article came up from like 2 years ago when Joker's Trick was streaming. And I talked to a friend of mine who knows who it was. I'm not gonna say who they are. Sure. I don't actually know them. I don't even think I like know their name or anything, but just like some poster who was like very unwell, and also had like I found their YouTube channel, and it's just dozens and dozens of videos about Elder Scrolls mods that that he made. Like he has like a Morrowind mod that's like just I kind of want to download it because it's like just completely bizarre. Like you can tell this person is like not well.
Okay.
But like
We're clear.
it's
To the
just
PIC.
it was so strange.
That's
What are
bizarre.
mods
Wow,
if
it's
not
so-
the original trick.
It's what?
What are mods
Yeah.
if not the original trick?
Right, yeah. It's just so weird to think about, like, wow, yeah, this whole, like, phenomenon can be kickstarted by, like, one person who just isn't doing very well in their life and just happens to be brilliant in this one kind of comedic way.
Yeah.
And people pick up on it.
Yeah.
What is this fucking mod? Well, see, if I tell you what mod it is, then you'll know who the person is.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I'll,
Now, what are we looking for?
I might try and download it, and I think I did download it actually, so maybe I'll just play it on stream someday.
And just don't tell anybody what the mod part is.
Well, yeah, I'll just be like, I'm playing a normal. Yeah, no, I do have it.
We're in for a fun ride.
I never want to know who like Twitter's characters are.
No.
Apparently, Drill is just like well known. People know who he is, and I'm like, I never want to find out. Just
Yeah.
never tell me.
Yeah, his spot got blown up.
One of the patch notes for this README.
Time to go.
I actually just want to read you a couple of them.
I would love to hear this.
The following NPCs should have more dialogue: Vivek, Alamaxia, Gary the Goblin, Jub, Arthas, Illidan, Jackie Chan, Master Chief, Andres Nerano, Savage Minecraft Kid, Driz Lugosi, Chug, Crocdoid420, Dibith Fur, Sarah Sill, Sheep, Snorkel, Gavin.
Kevin!
Also, Gavin, he's there too.
Telvani Terry's Wicked House is now a bit more wicked. Loot crates and additional sources of cannabis have been added scattered throughout Mournhold.
Oh my god.
The pillow in Mike's Fungus Farm should now be properly treated as a blunt weapon. I hope you enjoy Mournhold the way Todd Howard envisioned it before it was rushed to completion.
This person is so funny. I like
It's just
this.
extremely funny. Yeah, so I don't know, I might have to buy Morrowind for the first time in 20 years and play this thing, because I never played Tribunal or anything, and you needed Tribunal to run some of the more complex mods
Right.
for that game.
It just
Yeah.
comes with Tribunal now. Like, there's...
Yeah, it's just part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
There's-
happy you're moved. I think I'll try and play it on stream sometime.
One thing I learned when I was trying to mod Morrowind to just play for, like, personal enjoyment a couple months ago was, like, it's like apparently when you installed Tribunal, or when they released Tribunal, they were like, well, anybody playing the expansion has obviously, like, played hours and hours of this game. So that expansion just constantly spawns, like, incredibly high-level enemies on you,
Oh my
like, on
God.
the every time you go to bed in that game, and that's how it starts.
Oh god, no.
And so you just, like, get wasted. So there's a whole scene of mods out there that are just like, no, you have to have the, like, mod that makes it so that enemies won't attack you to start Tribunal for, like, 6 weeks into the game or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seems like, the Dark Brotherhood's trying to kill you. Seems like an oversight.
That sounds like the original concept for Alan Wake, where like you have to find somewhere to sleep at night and barricade yourself up, otherwise monsters will just kill you.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
It was a really interesting idea, and like I think ultimately it was, oh, the 360 can't do this. We can't have this kind of game. But I really want, like, I kind of hope they will go back to that idea at some point.
I remember, like, the original Alan Wake trailer shows, like, Alan Wake in that town, which I forget the name, Night Springs? Night Springs is
Night Springs is the show.
Yeah, it's the fake Twilight Zone. I just remember, like, the original trailer for that game, like, shows Alan Wake, like, running from weird cloaked cultists or whatever that are just not in that game at all. Like, that just doesn't happen.
It was like when I was a kid and movie trailers would show a scene and then you'd go and see the movie and the scene wasn't in it. You'd be like, what the fuck? You didn't understand, like, how movies could be.
Do you have, like, a favorite example of that ever happening?
I can't remember any off the top of my head. I do remember it happening, like, a bunch of times. Like, there's, like, there being, like, a distinct line or something.
Right.
That didn't end up being in the movie.
I remember for different reasons being pissed at the trailer for the movie Double Jeopardy. Where, like, I want to say it was Ashley Judd, like, got convicted. Yeah, got convicted for killing her husband, but her husband turned out to be alive. But, like, the trailer tells you literally the entire movie.
What?
And, like, I think you see the final scene in the trailer, or, like, the climactic scene or whatever. I'm like, this movie looks kind of neat, but I'm not going to watch it now.
Definitely watched it at someone's birthday party in the 7th grade. And also, we played a lot of Magic the Gathering. Mercadian Masks had just come out. I think widely regarded as one of the worst Magic the Gathering expansions.
But I bet you, like, had no idea at the time, right?
No, yeah. I mean, it was just I was getting back into it for the first time since.
I'll say one thing for
like I think because I played Magic in like the 4th grade, and then I think fell off of it, and then my group of friends picked it back up again in like the 7th.
Oh, sure.
Let's find a way back.
To circle back to the movies thing, I remember the exact movie and the exact scene where I realized that sometimes trailers just lie. It was Jason Statham's The Transporter. In the trailer for that movie, there is a scene where I think he's shirtless in like a kitchen, and he like holds up a big serving plate, like a big metal kind of tray, and somebody shoots an RPG into the room, and he like deflects it.
I remember that. I remember that. Does that not happen in the movie?
No, not at all.
I definitely remember seeing that in the trailer.
But that was definitely that is definitely the first time I remember that happening.
Hey, yeah, maybe they were like, this is too stupid even for a Jason Statham movie.
I don't know. Transporter is pretty stupid. And that's that was like his breakout movie too. Like he wasn't a huge star yet.
Oh yeah.
Was that pre or post Crank?
Pre.
Okay.
I think
it's at least a couple years before Crank.
This mission will be good for you, Diaz. Whatever you say.
was he? No, obviously not. That was John Reno. Like, why did I think he was? Oh, because Luc Besson directed the.
To get the hell away from Prescott's missions.
Now I'm getting them all confused. No, Leon the Professional has nothing to do with the transporter.
Sounds like an emergency. Get up there. Grubs will be tunneling out soon.
Well,
We're already back at it, huh? So much for
I don't know.
Prescott's
Also,
hammer
apparently,
strikes.
Luc Besson is. Yeah, I don't know.
Bad guy?
Possibly.
Ah.
I've only seen the first Crank. I have not seen the other ones. I feel like we talk about Crank every time we're streaming. But
We have had a lot of Crank conversations.
We should call this stream Crank Calls.
The cultural touchstone.
It is.
I mean, you know.
We'll go.
I'm surprised there's never been a You Love to See It of Crank yet.
I'm sure there will be.
Probably.
I don't know what they're doing next month, but it could just be like movies that have a conceit that's like really stupid. Like okay, no, but one single word movies that have like a really dumb central conceit. Speed, Crank, what else?
God, Speed has a great conceit. I'll say that, but so does
Okay.
Crank.
Also, I need to tell everyone. I need to blow up. Whose spot was it? Was it Nikki or?
It was
LB?
LB.
LB. I'm gonna blow up LB's spot a little bit.
Ah, right.
We were in a meeting the other day, and someone was talking about driving, and LB was like, "Oh yeah, it's just like driving. where it's just like speed, except you can't go too fast. No, it's just like speed, except you have to keep going fast. And I was like, wait a second.
If we don't close it, they'll just
They
keep
did have to
pouring
keep
out.
going fast in speed.
That's the
Nobody was
entire
like, no,
conceit.
wait, they have to go slow, right? It's like, no. There wouldn't be if they didn't have to go fast, it would be called slow, and also everyone could just get off the bus and they could disarm the bomb.
Yeah, she thought you had to stay under 60. Or
Yeah, they were like, yeah, you can't go, we can't go over 60, which I feel like is a joke in a Simpsons episode. Of like them watching that on. There might literally be from a Simpsons episode.
Like, yeah, I could definitely see like Homer
but-
getting put into that situation.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I've made some movie mistakes for a long time. I thought that The Wicker Man and Matchstick Men were the same movie.
Right. I remember you saying that.
Nikki says Crash. Philip the Snowman says also the other Crash. See, they don't have enough of a specific premise, I don't think.
Yeah, it's just bad.
Well, one of them's bad, one of them's good.
Oh, the one that's good kind of has a very specific premise.
That's pretty specific, but it's not like the whole, like, different things happen, right? It's not just like, if this guy stops moving, he'll die. Or like, if
Right.
the bus that couldn't slow down. Yeah. Yes. That is definitely from The Simpsons.
Would Dave count in this?
Dave. Oh, interesting. Because it's a guy controlled by robots, or by aliens?
Wait, are we thinking of different Daves? I'm thinking of the one of like the dude was an impersonator for the president, and they actually brought him in to be the president.
So, Merritt,
Oh,
you're
I'm
thinking of
Meat
Meat Dave. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dave that's
I'm thinking of the
Meat.
Kevin Kline Sigourney Weaver movie.
Yes. And he becomes president or whatever.
Yeah.
The Dave who's made of meat.
Every Dave you know is made of meat.
It's true. These are the Daves I know. I know this one's made of meat.
Uh-huh.
Almost out.
How are you doing in your struggle against the monsters, men?
I think we're killing the monster men. I think we're doing okay. This game doesn't seem tremendously hard yet, I'll say, which is good. But this is the tutorial, so that makes some sense. I've only got 2 guys still to... Oops, did I just blow up my own cover? Yes.
Okay, someone said bean, which actually is possible. That is possible.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a letterbox. I'm gonna start making a letterbox list now.
So
I looked
that...
up Snatch because I didn't remember what Snatch was about, and I find out it still stars Jason Statham.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
apparently he has a type.
It's like a crime movie. Well, it's not like a...
Yeah.
It's not like a Crank, though. It's like a
It's
heist
like
movie.
it's a Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an
So
early...
a lot of people being like,
Guy Ritchie.
you wanna steal a car, you oughta steal the car, blah blah blah. Guy Ritchie dialogue. Cut, ooh, cut.
I love it, love it, love it. Shit. What am I doing here? Okay. I don't know what happens if, like, a named character dies. I assume I just lose the mission?
It'd be great if they let you like Carmine and just introduce a new Carmine every time.
That'd be really good. Okay, this guy I want to disable. Oh, but I can't do disabling shot. No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I think I can just shoot him to death with my gun.
Ammo's low.
I'll just shoot him to death with my big powerful gun. Oh, I did miss, unfortunately.
Was Lucy she only uses 10% of her brain, or she
Yes.
unlocks her brain? Okay.
Yeah.
So I've never seen that movie. I kind of want to because it sounds that stupid, like stupid
People-
enough to be
yeah.
interesting.
People are pointing out that old is this as well, which is very true.
That's true.
What else? Has Crank? What I said a different one.
Speed.
Speed. So far, I've got Crank, Old, Bean, Speed.
Crinkle bean.
Never eat shredded wheat. This is a mnemonic device. Oh, yeah, if you want to remember how to disarm this bomb, just remember crank old bean speed.
Fucking nuts because the movie is like, hey, It's got Scarlett Johansson's in it, and she takes the Limitless pill to get 100% of her brain, and then Morgan Freeman, the whole movie is like, "Yo, holy shit! I can't believe she's about to hit 100% usage of her brain," even though he's the one that told her that it was possible. I'll tell you what happens at the end of the movie, because it's not gonna. It is one of those things where it doesn't matter that I'm telling you how it ends, because you will be unable to figure out how the film gets there.
Okay, I don't care if you spoil the end of the film Lucy.
Lucy turns into a USB stick. The human woman Lucy turns herself into a USB stick that contains all of the world's information on it. And they don't realize that that's what it is until they plug her into a computer and then the movie ends.
Wait, okay. Are you saying...
What about that is confusing, Steven?
I want an order of operations here. Are you skipping a step? Did she download her brain into an extant USB stick, or does she get such powerful... Okay.
Yes. There's the scene in the trailer of her walking through the airport and changing the length and color of her hair is her at like 40%.
But that's not a brain function.
Hey, you're right, Imran. It's not.
No, but that's because, well, you don't know that because you haven't tapped
That's
those,
true.
those functions.
I haven't hit that number yet.
Yeah.
What's your favorite movie where they do that? Where they're like
100% of your brain?
movies where they talk about only using a certain percent of your brain? Because I have an answer.
Of course you do.
I really like Limitless. I thought that movie was
Okay,
so
I'm not making
fucking
another
silly.
letter. This is my new hobby now. I'm just making letterbox lists.
The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. There's a lot of those movies.
There is.
Because there's Limitless, there's the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, there's the Limitless TV spin-off sequel.
Chuck.
Well, those are TV shows. Those don't count.
They'll make a
Watch all
Chuck
of
movie.
it. Time it's a movie.
My favorite would be Defending Your Life.
Defending Your Life. Is that what that is?
It's well, what it is when you die, you go to like this purgatory place, and
Look alive, soldier.
you every time you like advance in life or whatever, you start using like more and more of your brain.
Oh.
So like Rip Torn is in it, and he's like, I use like 50% of my brain. How much do you think you use, Albert Brooks? And he's like, 40%. He's like, haha, more like 5%.
Huh.
Cellular. Okay, that's another one for the
Overwatch.
one word thing.
Cellular, not to be confused, I assume, with Cell, which is a different movie? Or, no, I'm thinking of Pulse.
Drive. Saw.
Drive. Saw. Oh, Saw is a good one.
Go time. Hit him hard.
Like, it has to be a very specific conceit, though, because if Saw was just about a man with a saw, that would be different.
One word names.
I'm trying to think of that Travolta. Or I'm back on the Limitless kind of thing. What was that Travolta movie where he like sees a meteor and then becomes a super genius?
Oh, yeah. Shit. Fuck.
It has a real dumb name.
Yes.
See, a Travolta movie.
And it's almost exactly like the Kevin Spacey movie, but we don't talk about Kevin Spacey.
Right.
Phenomenon. Yeah.
Mhm. Spun? I don't know what Spun is.
Spun. I know Splice. That's not really like a specific conceit, though. That's more like Adrian Brody makes a lady he wants to fuck.
That game.
Oh
that
God.
person or not that game. That movie was so fucking weird. I mean, it was pretty good. It's by the same person who did The Cube.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I literally forgot about that movie until like you just mentioned it right
I
now.
watched it a couple of years ago. Yeah, it's by what's his name? That Canadian Vincenzo Natali.
Motion picture Grease.
Grease.
It's not about Grease though. Like it's
No. Imran was trying to figure out what John Travolta movie was where he saw the meteor and then became very smart.
oh yeah, no, that was Grease. You're right.
Yeah, Batman Forever is no, that's not John Travolta. That's Val Kilmer. Sorry.
But it can't like, and also like, it can't just be like the word. I can't just be like the name of the character. I don't think like Bean is different because it's like a. I don't know. I'm changing the rules. Cars. Okay, Cars.
Cars. What if
Cars
cars
is
were
good.
people?
Cars is good. It's just Cars.
The first Cars is fine though.
It just doesn't matter if it's good or bad.
Look
It's
around,
just
dear.
it doesn't saying it's good or bad.
Yeah.
It's just saying this is a very specific. It's just Cars.
Oh, it's a movie
It's
about the thing that it.
a movie about the thing that it says it's about, which you
So,
think
like-
all titles would be, but
Airplane
Mulan.
would be a good one.
Airplane. It's just a movie about an airplane. Really.
Well, is it though?
It's about. It's not about an airplane. It's about the people on the airplane.
It is more about the people on the airplane than the air. If it were just footage of an airplane,
Okay, in that vein, then the ultimate answer here is Twister.
Yeah.
that's where. Okay, yes.
Twister's great.
Geostorm.
Okay, but again, like I think we're getting away from the
Geostorm. The
idea.
movie about a geostorm.
I think we're getting away from the idea that it has to be a pretty specific concept. Like just tornadoes isn't really a conceit. Like I'm thinking like the car can't slow down.
Right.
Or
Right.
what if everyone was cars? Or what if there's a beach that made you old? Like those are all.
You're like
I see.
looking for Marvel's What If, but it's not based on anything.
And it doesn't have what if in the title. It's
Right,
just
right,
called
right.
like, oh, Sharknado. Yeah,
Sharknado.
exactly. That's like
yeah, there we go.
that's basically they did the exact thing.
Oh.
Um,
If we want to start dipping into, if we want to start counting Sci-Fi Channel original movies as movies, then we've got a whole other ballgame to
mean-
play.
At least.
yeah, listen, they're movies.
Oh,
Madagascar
Taken.
technically is this.
It kind of
Yeah,
is.
but like a bunch of the movie isn't. It takes place in like a zoo. Maybe only the first 10 minutes. I haven't seen it. RoboCop.
RoboCop.
I will allow RoboCop.
Wait,
You heard
sorry. In
where I said
Madagascar, the
like
whole
Taken
thing
is a possible one.
Taken. Okay, Taken is good.
Yeah.
What verbs are good? Verbs generally are good because they're like
Descriptive.
descriptive. Yeah. What if someone got taken?
Hope this was worth
Yeah.
dodging your hammer strikes for.
Nikki, sorry you sound a little distant, so if
Yeah.
we miss you, sorry about that.
I think I'm accidentally talking over Nikki occasionally.
Open it. You're looking at the
Chappie.
only known phone
What if Chappie was real?
What if my good friend Chappie was a real guy and I could hang out with him?
Oh, Big. Big is a really
Big.
good one.
monsters.
Jack.
Corpses, Brumak.
Jack. No, but Jack isn't really descriptive though.
It's not descriptive, but it is about like what if kid got old real quick.
Not after Gecko.
Drive. People are saying drive. Driving isn't.
You want to save lives today.
I'm
Squandering your
I'm getting really particular about this.
I don't know if Alien or Aliens would fit in this idea.
Alien. A lot of people have said Alien. Cube. I think is actually possible.
Cube is good.
No resupply.
Oh, I'm so excited that you told me about that Japanese remake of Cube coming out.
You say?
Oh, I know, right?
That's gonna
it's
be
like
so
the
cool.
opposite of how that stuff normally works.
Right.
You always were resourceful. Recruit
Um,
whatever gears you
Yeah, like
find.
normally there's terrible American remakes of Japanese horror movies, but thankfully that trend seems to have mostly died down.
Yeah.
Try to do better
Oh,
this
Pig,
time.
I guess. Pig could be on the list.
Gonshorn says thinner, which is kind of, yeah. What if guy just kept getting thinner?
Is that what happens?
Oh yeah, he gets cursed because he's an asshole, and he just starts getting thin. Like an old lady, he like runs over an old lady, and she says thinner, and then he just starts getting thinner and thinner and thinner. He like wasting away.
Come on.
I'm saying Ravenous. Does
Let's
anyone know what
find
that
some
is?
more gears.
No. Sounds like a horror movie. Okay, for completing the tutorial, you have earned the Gabe Diaz character for using Gears 5 multiplayer modes. Hell yeah!
Oh, yeah, we did it.
It's what we came here for. And now we can switch over to Gears 5 like we originally planned. Anaconda says Gonshorn. That's a good one. Okay, Woodrow says Slither, which I also thought of. I don't know if that's like a specific conceit. That's like an alien invasion movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's things do slither in it. Now people are just writing. You're just saying things now. Teeth, horse.
Teeth is a movie.
Teeth is a movie. I remember that.
Inception, maybe.
Inception, maybe. I don't know if I can put one of those movies on here.
Yeah.
I am gonna put Teeth on.
Hey, okay. Does Batman count?
What if there
What
was a
if
Batman?
Batman-
See,
If there was a
Here's the
Batman?
thing. If Batman hadn't already been a thing before then
Okay.
yes, it would have counted. But the fact that Batman already existed and everyone knew what a Batman was, if they had invented Batman and just called the movie Batman, absolutely. But no.
Okay, claim. Common case. Loot. +5 crit chance. Retro Lancer mod. Open all. Okay. Oh. The following red triangle. Follow the red triangles in the barracks to equip new upgrades. Okay. Barracks. We got Sid. Every time I see this spelling of Sid instead of the Final Fantasy spelling of Sid, all I can think about is Scott Benson's cat. Your units gain skill points as they level up. Okay. Spend skill points to unlock new passives and active skills. You will get reset tokens by completing campaign missions. Spending a reset token will refund a unit's skill points. Okay. Hunker down, select a target ally in cover. Target gains +40 evasion. Okay, so there's an ability in XCOM called Hunker down, but this works differently. That's interesting.
They're just trying to confuse you.
Yeah, they really are going to throw me off. Enemies within 10 meters are removed from cover and interrupted. That seems good.
Now here's a question:
Hmm.
Is face off 2 words or 1 word?
The movie title delineates it as 2 words.
Does it?
It
There's
puts
a slash between those. Yeah.
But there's no spacing.
Yeah. Okay, some people are saying gamer.
Gamer is kind of... What if a guy was controlled by a gamer?
Is that the one that has like what Michael C. Hall as
Yeah.
like the gamer?
He is like the guy who
Yeah.
runs like the game. He created the gamer program or whatever.
Oh, he's Bobby Kotick.
Yeah. He invented gamers like Bobby Kotick. Okay. When this unit kills an enemy with the bayonet charge ability, this unit gets +20 damage and +20 damage reduction for this turn. That seems good. Oh, okay. Okay, I think I see what people were talking about with that momentum stuff. When this unit kills an enemy, this unit's bayonet charge ability cooldown is reduced by 1 turn. Okay.
Oh, that does sound like it would make this a lot faster and more interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. I can get a scope. He's the only one with that gun, so I might as well just give him that mod. Gabe wants a sleek stock. Okay, Overwatch skill patrol. This unit's Overwatch shot gets +15 damage. Okay. +5 crit chance, or basically an ability. +5% crit chance seems really good. Overwatch shot +15% damage, though. As much as I'm using Overwatch shots right now, I think that's the one.
So looking over a list of movies, I don't think I've ever told you guys about how I wanted to at one point make a shot-for-shot remake of Ghost, but it slowly turns into a horror movie.
Oh, like he starts like stalking the lady, or is there like a different?
Yeah,
element?
like just different shit goes bad. I've not really thought it out beyond like it'd be really funny to get to the. I was gonna say get to the vase scene, but the vase scene is surprisingly early in that movie.
Yeah, he's
but,
not
like-
even dead at that point, right?
Yeah, that I always felt like that's misleading. Social consciousness and whatever has told me that he is a ghost helping to make a piece of pottery, but that's not actually true.
There is a Mandela effect
Oh
thing
no,
going on there.
yeah. We all thought that happened. But no, he's alive in that scene. Yeah, when I watched that Free Love to See It a couple months ago, it's just like, what the fuck? How does this not? What?
It's a much less interesting scene when you know that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Hiding a helmet will keep its bonus. Oh yeah, sure. It says I've got unused mods, but can I equip more than one mod to a weapon at the same time? Is that how it works?
I like that you have Wilford Brimley in your party.
Okay. This is a stock. Okay, and then there's other stuff. No, I don't. These guys aren't my people. These are the coalition's people. Sorry, splash damage. This is splash damage's people. I can't decide what they look like. Okay, I think that was what I was missing.
Up, definitely up.
Up, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet there's a bunch of Pixar movies that fit this. Ants, maybe. That's not
Ants.
Pixar, but
Now, so our recruiting options are thin. Our best bet for
But
gears
again,
is Echo
ants
5, a
are
mop-up
ants
unit
that
stationed nearby.
is.
Let's
Well,
pay
I
him a
don't-
visit.
I'm being very, very weird about this, but I'm sorry that I've commandeered.
Waterworld?
Like
Waterworld is one word.
Waterworld. What if the world was all water? Absolutely. We can also stop talking about this. I'm sorry.
Gonna need a
I mean, you want to talk about Waterworld? I like that movie.
go down easy.
Isn't it weird that like
Don't you worry.
Waterworld
Been working
was
on my
one of the
recruiting
like
pitch.
12 games released for the Virtual Boy?
Right.
Yeah. Like I think it's the only like game tie-in that movie had.
Yeah, it might have been. There might be was there a Super Nintendo Waterworld game?
Let's look it up and see.
I don't remember
Wild
one.
how big they thought Waterworld was going to be.
Okay, there was a Super Nintendo Waterworld.
Yeah, I thought so. It's not very. I think it's like a top-down thing. It's like not very good.
This looks like it's a top-down ship thing that looks awful, and also a side scroller that also looks awful.
Grubs just ambushed
Yeah.
our unit half a click up the road. Came out of nowhere.
Duel is kind of one of those movies, by the way. I know we're moving on, but Duel. I was thinking Jaws, and I was like, maybe not Jaws, and then I remembered the movie that Steven Spielberg did before Jaws was kind of one of those movies. Just what if a truck was trying to kill you?
Oh, Ghostbusters. That's someone said Ghostbusters. It's very true.
It's a good one.
Okay, we should stop.
I can't let this piece of not irony, I guess, but coincidence pass. The Waterworld video game is developed by Ocean Software.
You think that's how they got the job?
It's like, hey, come on, who's better? Ocean
Yeah.
Software was like the Wait, were they a developer or a publisher?
Both.
Okay, because they were like the LJN of England.
Yeah.
In
All
that
their stuff looks just like movie licenses.
it was a
Drugs are still
thing
here.
in the 80s
Take
and
'em out.
90s of just like
Should've left when you had the
they made that
chance,
Mission
asshole.
Impossible game for the N64. Oh my god.
I didn't know there was a Mission Impossible game for the N64.
Oh my god, yeah. It was so weird.
Huh.
You'd think it would just be like GoldenEye, but no.
Huh.
It was
I remember
third
seeing it.
person.
I was like, oh, maybe this is the way they're competing with Metal Gear.
Yeah, it was more like that. It was like a mission-based thing where you walk around in third person and have really awkward gunfights sometimes, but mostly you're just like doing spy stuff. So you're like using gadgets to like open doors or to like scan people's fingerprints or like stuff like that, and then like putting different face masks on.
That's cool.
Played through the
Yeah.
whole thing, and I think as a kid I liked it. I mean, in retrospect, it was not very good, but
I remember there was a whole kind of era there of, I feel like, them trying to make spy games more of a thing, but like during the Bourne Identity era. So it was like the 24 game and the Bourne Identity game and a bunch of those like, no, it's like you
Yeah.
have to go around punching people and there's QTEs. It's not about shooting guns.
right, yeah.
I miss God, what was that game called? The Obsidian spy game?
Alpha Protocol.
Alpha Protocol. That game wasn't bad.
Yeah,
It really falls apart at the end, but otherwise was not bad.
I really, really want to play that game. I've started it about 4 times, like at different points.
Maybe we'd make a new stream show where you play spy games
Yeah,
that we call spy games.
that'd be really good, actually. Okay, this unit gets the hidden status effect. I think these are just grunts. Well, I think this is literally a grunt. I think no, they're called grubs, drones. Okay, I think these guys that I have, I don't know.
They're Jeffs.
They're Jeff's.
They're Jeff Grubbs.
Oh yeah, Jeff Grubbs is here. Shouts out to Jeff Grubbs. That's what I'm calling him now. How far is 10 meters? Oh, 10 meters is far. Okay. Okay.
Scout on standby.
Can I get you out of Overwatch?
Need more time at the range.
No, okay, if it misses, it does not get him out of Overwatch. Okay.
This game looks fine, but I don't think it scratches my particular like XCOM itch.
No. Like, it has the impact on the shots, like, those feel good so far, but it's just like, one of the things I love with XCOM is, by the end of that game, we had created what if Shenron was a human man who had, like, what if Shenron from Dragon Ball had assumed human form and was helping Bronold and Farfield and Swishmail from the Dark Souls games, and a bunch of other weird characters? We made Fancy into a character.
Right, because in this one, these are just their characters. You can't mess around with them.
Yeah.
I think there are Gearsmen, but I do think, like, Tyrone Wolf Shepherd and Marcella Spectre Trin, I think they are just made up.
Like, you can't edit them.
No, I think they're just assigned to you as they are. But maybe after this mission, it'll be like, actually, no. You can just retcon what they look like. But these guys were assigned to me as part of this story. Okay, that seems like a good grenade toss.
So you can customize troops eventually.
Oh, okay.
Beyond the hero units, but you can't customize faces.
Oh.
Yeah, I miss Farfield too. I was thinking about Farfield the other day. I was thinking about doing a playthrough of Remastered, maybe, on stream. Also, though, I was looking into the Bloodborne thing again, and
Stay down.
turns out, yeah, like you can't. There's no PS4 emulation right now. It's the thing that looks like it is, if you search for it, is a scam.
Oh.
Yeah. PSX4 or whatever it's called is not real. So, but what I did figure out is that if I just hook up my PS4, I could probably just PS to my computer.
Yep.
But
Yeah. Do you have a capture card, right?
Orders.
no, that's not what I mean. Like, if I had a capture card, I could just hook up my PS4 to my monitor and do that.
Right.
But PS Now has that thing where it like lets you stream
Oh.
to device. The only thing is, I don't know if I have the pipes to stream something to my PC and then stream that to the internet.
Right. Okay.
So
I see what you're saying.
I might try that out this weekend. And if it doesn't
gonna be a
work,
very difficult game to like go in laggy.
yeah, that's the
Right.
thing too, right? Is if there's any latency, but
Hey.
failing that, I'll just buy a capture card.
Sure. They're not terribly expensive.
Solid copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Lucky the Hyena says King's Field is probably easy to emulate.
So true.
Sekiro is also just on PC.
Yeah.
That's true. It doesn't have the fun thing of like making a person that we get invested in though,
That's
Yeah.
true. Good point.
because that's really really critical.
So I was actually partially thinking about streaming Wildermyth for that element for the Hardship Troopers 2. Decided to go with this partially because I just think it'll be quick and kind of something we
Yeah.
can get through. But also because they're streaming that over on Waypoint, and I didn't want to
Right.
copy their... I didn't want to bite their flavor, you know? Bite their style. But I am excited to play that game. I actually really want to check that out. I don't care for the art style very much, and I'm sorry if that makes me just like...
No, I mean,
Seem
when I
anti-fun.
first saw it, I was like, nah. But reading about it, I was like, okay, I should look past this and get into it.
Yeah. I watched some gameplay of it, and it was like, oh, you can really... They really go hard in terms of like what you can do in this game. This seems cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that art style. This is the first time I've seen it. That's not an art style that appeals to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like a webcomic, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't. There's just, like, it looks like this one webcomic, and I can't think of the name of it. And it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, it gives me like very like being in high school and recommending a webcomic to friends energy.
God, this webcomic's so funny. They talk about video games and stuff.
There's a story behind it too.
There's a lore.
Taking position.
It's just the faces. It's everything else I could accept.
Yeah.
It's just like they really
They give him
Like, they-
Tintin eyes.
they Tintin eyes, and they just have smirky webcomics face.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's not what I like, but I after seeing the story and seeing the tone of how the story goes, I think I'm like, okay, I think I can look past it.
That's good. I have to go because I'm going to be on a podcast.
Oh,
in
right.
A little bit. But this was fun, and I wish you the
Bring it on,
best
I'm
in your
ready.
overwatching.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll talk to y'all later.
Hi, Merritt.
Bye.
They're in my sight.
You're your friend Escatos? I'm sorry, I don't know where one part of that begins and the other ends. I'm sorry for not pronouncing it correctly. Says it has Control-Alt-Delete vibes, which I read a lot of Control-Alt-Delete back in the day. The day being middle school and high school, and I'm not proud of it.
I think I always made fun of Control Alt Delete. I did read Penny Arcade, which I want to say it was funnier back in the day and just isn't now.
Yeah.
So I'm not the one who is wrong. They're wrong
Yeah, of
for
course.
making it less funny.
Right, they should just do a better job.
Yeah. I read 8-Bit Theater in high school. I remember that, like, specifically, because a friend got me a shirt from it.
Oh, that's cool.
Comms
But-
truck ahead.
Yeah, I don't think I read that many
That's where we start
like,
looking.
not ones especially that I would feel. I thought Sinfest at the time was okay. Now it is like real weird preachy turf garbage.
I don't like that.
No, the fact that it's still going also pretty terrible.
Weird.
Okay, now.
I always disliked Mega Tokyo.
Mega Tokyo. I don't know if I ever read that.
It's not great. I think it's still going, and somehow the art hasn't managed to improve in 20 years.
I feel like that's the case with a lot of webcomics.
Yeah. I don't know if VG Cats is still running, but I remember reading that.
I think it is, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, look it up. I know Control Alt Delete's still running for some reason, but
Yeah.
like they rebooted it, like they killed off the main character.
What?
Yeah, no,
I missed that.
He died, and then like they ended the comic by like it was literally a comic of everyone mourning him.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god. No, I will not. I refuse to go look this up. I'm not. I can't. No. I'm Will Smith in I Am Legend. No! No, no! Like, no, I will not.
Moving.
Let me see.
They won't get past me.
Hold the line, people.
I did see somebody mention Achewood, which is... That's still
Yeah.
a banger. That holds up.
Rub down. About to salvage.
Yeah, I can find references to the main character being killed off, not a direct link.
Huh. Probably for the
But it-
best, honestly, for your mental well-being.
Oh wait, no, I found it.
Oh, no! You were so close. You were almost free.
I'm listening.
100% gonna message you this in Slack so you can see it.
I mean, now that you've said that, I do have to know.
Yep.
Also, VG Cats does still exist. They're still making comics.
Somebody in the chat, Zednot also says VG Ludes. Yes, I forgot about that. That's the situation with VG Cats is they like pivoted to making porn of their characters or porn in that style at some point.
Good for them, I guess.
Yeah, like honestly, as long as they're cool people. I know nothing about I know nothing
Yeah.
about the crew, but you know, that kind of pivot. You know what?
One dead grub.
Yeah. I don't know an artist like on the internet who's not been like, yeah, porn pays some bills.
Yeah, porn pays the bills. Absolutely.
Tags home at least.
It should pay more, and it should be like sex work in general should be decriminalized. Not that it's the same thing, but I think it should be destigmatized in this case, I suppose.
I forgot the lady from Control Delete opens the Ethan McManus Church of Gaming in his honor.
Ethan McManus, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm remembering it now. Too much bad stuff is coming back to me.
Because, like, you can't really go anywhere with that comic after Lost, right? Like, that is... Once you become an internet meme in a way that it's not coincidental, it is very much about the work and decisions you've made.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really do anything with that story arc.
Right. It's not Drew Scanlon becoming the blinking white guy and it's like totally harmless and it's just like a fun thing that happened. It's like, no, we hate your stuff and your decisions so much that like it is itself a punchline to us now. Just seeing that is a punchline.
Every time I now see, like, 4 things, I'm like, okay, I have to check for at least one brief thought. Is this Lost?
You and Kyle Orland. Shouts out to my old boss Kyle Orland. It was just like always, is this Lost?
Sometimes it is. You can't ever be sure.
A lot of the times it is. It is more often than you think. Is this Lost? It's more likely than you think.
Let's see. What else did I read? Gunnar Krigg is still going. Gunnar Krigg is still like... I fell off the story a long time ago, but that art is still great.
I'm not familiar with that one.
It is a at this point very long serial webcomic.
Okay.
That is like the artist has been clearly getting very like much better at art over the years.
Cool. That's awesome. That is one thing I did actually love, and I think this is true of a lot of different webcomics, of like watching people grow as artists over time was always super interesting.
PBF, your friend Descados mentions, like, that holds up. He started making new ones at some point, and the new ones were not nearly as good.
Oh, right. I forgot that like he was back.
I don't know if he's still back, but
Right.
he came back well after that run was over.
Right.
So,
Because it was like on hiatus, or as far as I knew, done for a long time.
yeah.
Waiting orders.
I think it was a Gary Larson situation where he was like, oh, I still have some more ideas, then the ideas came. I've not read the new Far Side, so I don't know if they're bad, but like in the PBF case, it was like maybe these ideas are not meant for prime time.
Yeah.
The one that I think probably still holds up mostly, that I liked a lot, or one that I liked a lot, was Dinosaur Comics. I liked Quants.
Oh yeah.
And that was one that was like super interesting to watch Ryan North like go from being the Dinosaur Comics guy to like writing some of my favorite Marvel comics.
It is like, I think it'll be very hard to do that, repeat that kind of that process today, but there was like a heyday where a bunch of people were making the leaps from webcomic to like TV show writer or
Right.
comic writer surprisingly directly.
Yeah. I guess there's like I guess Hollywood always loves novelty, right? Because there was also like that era of people wanting to make TV shows based off of like novelty Twitter accounts, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Which
like-
is still a thing, I think.
Yeah,
But
I
it sounds
think-
like Twitter threads these days or something like
Oh, Twitter threads.
that. Yeah. Like I saw something like, oh yeah, CBS just greenlit this new sitcom about like this Twitter thread about an aunt who something, I don't know.
What? Okay. Sounds like something CBS would pick up.
Yeah. Just throw whatever at the wall and hope it works.
Uh-huh.
Standing by.
They don't own Giant Bomb anymore. We can say anything we want about them. I do love that article that was going around recently of like, you've never heard of the biggest media company in America, and it's Red Ventures.
Oh, okay. Netflix bought new adult animated comedy Chicago Party Ant.
Right. I saw that. I did see that. Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the thing that, one, I have never heard of.
No, me neither.
Two, who is spending this money? Who is like in charge of a checkbook going, we need a Chicago Party Ant show?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, where did that come from? Like, did they see the Twitter thread and were like, we need to make this a thing? Or was like, did their aunt, or I don't know, maybe not their aunt, that's a bad example in this specific case, but did their like cousin or nephew or something say, you gotta see this Twitter thread, it's so funny, and then suddenly they were like, well, hey, this could be a TV show.
They have 51,000 followers, which is not a small amount.
No.
But, like, that's maybe, like, 2,000 more than I have. That's not a, like, insane amount. That is, like, minor celebrity at best.
Yeah.
Awaiting order.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, give me a TV show, Netflix.
I mean, I would watch a show that you made.
Yeah.
On it.
If you could
I have-
make... Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I've nearly broken the threshold of what Netflix will pay for. These maps seem real long, Steven.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that's all they have, right? Like,
Yeah. There's no base building stuff, so.
right. Here's the thing, and I'm kind of bummed that Darkest Dungeon is going in a different direction than like what I want with the sequel. But I always thought it would be really cool if you had like an XCOM type thing. I guess XCOM 2 is kind of like this, but where you were like on a train and you were building a base on a train and moving from location to location and like, but still adding new compartments that like were your laboratory and your engineering facility and your shadow chamber, that sort of stuff. But you had to be on the move constantly. I always thought that would be a cool idea.
Yeah.
Go time. Hit 'em hard.
Like the Assassin's Creed Syndicate of tactical shooters.
Right, totally.
Yeah.
Or yeah, like this, like because they're in a truck, but it's just like it's just story stuff. It has nothing to do with, that has nothing to do with the rest of it. Oh, I guess it's just kill all these guys, huh? Okay. So are all these guys running? Okay.
The base building aspect of XCOM 2 was like the thing that was so affecting to me. Like that was the thing that gave me nightmares of like, hey, the missile command kind of thing.
Right.
Of no matter what you do, the enemy is always closing in or stopping you in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And like the lack of it, I think, makes me much less interested.
Me too. I still do like it. It feels good when like in the same Gears of War-y way. It feels good when like you shoot a guy and they make that guitar riff, you know.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't. I'll probably. I mean, I'll probably beat this because I just don't think it's very long. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's not. It's not XCOM. Yeah, Happy Earmuff says, "Wait, that sounds rad. Convoy-based game. Yeah, I've wanted that for years." There is a game that it's not XCOM like, so it's not a perfect example. But I did see a thing that was like launching into early access or something soon, that I'm trying to remember the name of now, where it seems like it's a survival game where you're on a train that is like going through the sky through like different dimensions or something. But it's like Subnautica on a big like flying train.
Is that the Void Train game you're talking
Void
about?
Train, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think that got added to my press account in something.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Epic. That sounds right.
Kill confirmed.
Yeah. How far away do you think we are from a new XCOM? Because I imagine that Marvel game is probably their higher priority now.
Yeah, it's got to be, right?
Unless they have two very similarly skilled teams.
Two very similarly skilled teams that also aren't working on Civilization 7, because that has to be like something somebody is considering somewhere.
Yeah, it's been a good few years since 6.
Yeah. And they did all that like season pass stuff with 6, so like that extended the lifespan on that game quite a bit.
Yes.
XCOM was last year. Yeah.
X-Cops, yeah. That's what
Which
it's called.
at the time I thought was like them experimenting with whatever an XCOM 2 will be, but
Right. Or at XCOM
or
3.
XCOM 3. Yeah.
Same, because that's what, like, that was at the almost exact same time as that other game from the Mutant Year Zero devs.
Yeah.
Corruption 2029?
Yeah, something like that.
And that was very explicitly them saying, like, this is specifically designed to let us test out some ideas. And it was not very good, I'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, that's why you test out the ideas, so you don't commit to them, I guess.
Totally, yeah.
Orders.
XCOPS was, like, did have some really cool ideas. It's XCOM's Chimera Squad, for people watching, by the way. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it's actually called. That did have some interesting ideas. I liked all the breach and clear setup stuff was, like, a really interesting idea. If in a different context, I would have liked a lot more. Where you are, like, setting up your units in front of doors and, like, okay, you brought a breaching charge with you on this mission so you can enter through this door, and if you enter through this door, or this wall, as it is, you get, like, plus 10% accuracy on all shots, or sometimes it'd be wilder than that. It'd be like, no enemy can react to you for one turn because they're so surprised that you, like, came in through the ceiling or something.
That does sound really interesting.
It was cool. It was very cool.
I mean, maybe that is stuff that actually is going into, like, the Marvel XCOM or whatever. Or
Yeah.
whatever they end up actually calling that game.
That's a good point. Speaking of Jeff Grubb, I remember him being out there saying that was, like, supposed to be supernatural themed.
Yeah, like, I assume, like, a more on the Doctor Strange side and the Shield side.
Yeah. I know I saw a lot of people seeing that rumor and were like, oh, is this a Blade game or something? And probably not. I assume that, like, well, because the other thing with that, too, was you're not going to be playing as named characters. You're going to be, like, making your own team.
Yeah, which I assume named characters are still in the game in
Totally.
some form. Like, I always assumed it was going to be like a X-Wing TIE Fighter thing where, yeah, I'm not Luke or I'm not Vader.
Right.
But I am still, you know, this is a cool look into the world. A world that, like, the actual writers of the movie is trying to make as small as possible and everyone else tries to expand.
Right. That was super weird to me at the time because, like, that's not an uncommon conceit for games. Like, I feel like there's a ton of, maybe it used to be more common before, like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe and everything like that, and everybody is, like, specifically expects that. But yeah, like, X-Wing TIE Fighter, back when they were making Star Wars games back then, you rarely played as those characters. You would play as original characters that just happened to exist in that universe.
Yeah. Which I think is generally the way to go, especially with, like, big things like Star Wars that have large universes. I usually don't want to play as the character themselves unless it's a, you know, an action kind of game that it makes sense to be the superhero themselves.
Right.
But for
I'm ready for this.
game or a Star Wars XCOM, I don't think I'd want to be Luke necessarily.
Right. No, I 100% agree with you.
I'm listening.
Okay. And there's a lot of stuff that you can do with the Marvel Universe. Like, I was looking into, I don't know if you know this, but I don't know if everybody watching this knows this, but I'm was at one point a huge comic book person, and read a lot. I was, like, digging through my memories of old Marvel lore and trying to think, like, who would they do if they were doing, like, a team-based thing that is supernatural. And it was like, I forget his name, the name of their squad, but there was, like, Hellstrom, Son of Satan, and stuff like that were on, like, a team at one point. There's the Howling Commandos. I hope it's not just, like, you're playing Supernatural Shield. I think that would kind of suck, because I hate Shield. Which is weird, because I like Agents of Shield, the TV series, but I, like, hate the concept of Shield. And, like, just, like, being these weird interventionist military people.
Standing by.
I mean, they are what we were just saying, the X-Cops. They
Yeah.
were, like, I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is probably the best representation of them I've seen in the media.
Yeah.
Because they do seem to just kind of fuck everything else up everywhere else.
Yeah. In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they're just, like, more normal people. And they very early on in that series kind of lose all their resources and stuff.
Yeah.
In a way that makes them more interesting than just, like, I have a super gadget that solves all my problems.
It always kind of bummed me out that none of the Marvel shows are canon to the MCU. Like, it would have been cool for that thing to... Because it was at one point clearly canon.
Yeah.
And then at some point they're like, let's write this thing out.
I think it's canon, it's just, like... nothing that they were so kept from doing any of that stuff, unless they came out and announced that it's not canon anymore. Maybe that's true.
I want to say James Gunn said, yeah, that thing's not canon.
Oh, really? Interesting.
On standby.
I mean, it wasn't Fahey or anything, but
Right.
yeah.
Affirmative.
I guess just my best option here is mostly just to Overwatch, I think. Yeah. Oh, X-Men XCOM sounds like it'd have some major synergy, says your friend Discados. Yeah, like, honestly, if they want to bring the X-Men back into the fold of that, a lot of that stuff, like, that's a cool way to do it. X-Men Destiny was a bad game, but had a not terrible conceit.
Yeah.
Almost impressed.
Have you ever played the Wii version of that game?
I've never played any version of that game.
So, all versions of that game are bad. The Wii version is bad in a way that is hard to describe. Because there's clearly, like, it feels like a student project at times.
Oh my
And
god.
The art is, for whatever reason, different from the 360 version. Like, they have individual character, you know, or pictures when they're talking and things like that. And it all looks incredibly awful. Like, holy shit, awful. I think I put up a Let's Play on YouTube a decade and a half ago, so I may just, like, go take some screenshots from that. But
Yeah.
it's like, literally, it looks like Cyclops just has something stuck in his mouth the entire time he's on screen. It is so weird.
Oh, that's a great image. I love that.
Potato shithead. Won't be getting up from that.
Did you
That
play the regular version of the game?
Bring 'em on.
No, I don't think so. I think I played the Wii version just kind of for laughs.
Oh, okay.
And it does accomplish that. But, like, I don't think... The regular version also sounded very bad.
Right, yeah.
Upon looking up X-Men Destiny Wii, my video is, like, the first thing on there. So not a whole lot of people have played this, I think.
Oh my god. I mean, yeah, that doesn't shock me one bit. Like, literally, you can't buy it anymore. Like, it got recalled.
Yeah. It got recalled and they destroyed all the copies.
That's wild.
So if you own a copy of that game, it's very rare.
Yeah. Nobody wants it, but it's very rare.
I was holding a copy of Too Human in my hand at the GameStop and I was like, maybe I should get this. Like, this is gonna be rare one day. And also now, like, Microsoft just gives it away for free.
They
because
literally
can't
give it
sell
away for free.
Like, they're literally legally not allowed to sell it. So they're just like, all right, just take it. Like,
It's-
you download it for free.
That's so funny to me. Whatever happened, like nothing, I guess, is it probably just like disappeared and went away, but that
Keep knocking him down.
that game that they were trying to make, that Dennis Dyack was trying to get off the ground like through Kickstarter, that was like
Shadow of the Eternals.
Shadow of the Eternals. Very memorable name.
Yeah, so it failed its first Kickstarter, so they came back at it again with a second lower cost Kickstarter, which it also failed. So they tried to use their own website to also get crowdfunding, and I believe that failed. Then I want to say they said, "Oh, we've got a publisher now. It's no big deal. We've got a publisher. We're going to continue to work on it." And then it went quiet, and that's when the "Hey, the person working on this game is a pedophile" story broke.
Right.
And then it went even quieter. And since then, I don't think anything's been said about it. Dioc himself, who is, by the way, kind of a shitheel, like
Roger.
Yeah.
was at one point pro Gamergate, still I think kind of is. So when Reset Era was made, Dioc came back, he was famously banned from NeoGAF because he made people bet on whether Too Human would be a good game or not.
Oh my god.
And he was like, if it's not a good game, I will take a ban. So he got banned for life. And he came back when Reset Era came around, and people brought up, hey, you used to be Gamergate. Like, do you just not? Can you just say, hey, you're not Gamergate anymore? And he refused. And he penned this I want to say 3 or 4 page letter to the administration of Reset Era that he wanted to publicly post there. They showed it to me at one point. It's fucking crazy. I don't know that like.
Whoa.
I read through it and like, this is what an insane person would write. But they wouldn't post it, and I don't know what's happened to him since then. But last time I checked in on him, he said he's working on a successor to Legacy of Kain. And I don't know who's publishing it.
Ready.
Probably nobody.
Probably
But,
nobody. Yeah.
Yeah, that is apparently what he's doing right now. Is a Legacy of Kain successor.
Huh.
Ready for a
I'm gonna look it up. I don't know what the name of this thing is. Because it was something real dumb. It was like Legacy of
All of them.
something.
Legacy of Jane.
Dead House Sonata is what it's named.
Dead House Sonata. Okay.
Yeah.
What a weird. No pun intended on legacy, but what a weird legacy to leave behind.
Yeah. Like, he was... Dennis Diog is maybe one of the more interesting stories because he was very much, like, on the prime of becoming a very well-known name in the game industry for good reasons instead of terrible ones.
Right. Yeah.
And then, like, somehow...
Those gears are
I-
lucky.
I don't know if this is the actual case, but I always just assumed the Wii drove him crazy in a way that ruined his career. Because he seemingly like he had a multi-game partnership with Nintendo. They were
Oh.
ready to go forward with more games, and then he was like, he saw the Wii, he's like, no, I don't want to work on this. So he split and then signed a multi-game partnership with Microsoft. Then Too Human was a problem. Then X-Men Destiny. I'm like,
Yeah, Too Human was supposed to be 3 games. That was the era of every game that got announced is like, this is the beginning of our trilogy.
yeah. And like I think Mass Effect's the only one that made anything good on it, and it was because EA bought them.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like any other big games from that era that were like, that they actually like fulfilled the trilogy and the trilogy's actually liked. And it's like, Mass Effect?
Yeah, I think that's the only one I can think. Like, there are games that had like 3 entries, but like, I think most people it was just a combination of the thing. Like, oh, we have a good trilogy, but the way the game market works is that like they hit their stride the second game, and then the publisher starts intervening in the third.
Yeah.
And that's when things go to shit.
That's what happened with Mass Effect. Largely. Like, Mass Effect 3 is like where they were like, you got to get this out very quickly. Like, they had a very short window. Also, there's going to be loot boxes and multiplayer and what shared screen experience. You have to have the phone stuff. The phone
Yeah.
stuff. Oh, the phone stuff.
Yeah, make this game in 18 months, and like I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I very famously do not like Mass Effect 3, but I know there's a lot of people who do. Dead Space is also a very good example
Dead
of like,
Space.
what if we just fucked this up as much as possible? They did, and it was a bad game.
Right. Oh, fuck. Yeah. I mean, Dead Space 3, I don't hate Dead Space 3, but like,
It's
Dead
not
Space 3,
Space.
it's not Dead Space. Yeah, exactly. Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed made it way more than 3 games, but the third game was very bad.
Yeah. Famously from Alex Hutchinson, who has been having a time on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, that is. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like, there are parts of Assassin's Creed 3 I like, and there's like the rest of it's like, oh, this game did not have enough time to develop, or just something went wrong.
Yeah, it's just like, I remember it being like, before Assassin's Creed Unity kind of like stole its title, its crown as the buggy Assassin's Creed game, it was the buggy Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah. Like, I remember there was a thing where like it's like there's a homestead where like you go do missions and stuff like that in 3, and there's like one small line in text saying like, oh yeah, time's all jumbled in the homestead because of the animus or whatever. And I always had the theory that they only did that or only put that one line in because there were dead NPCs just walking around everywhere. Characters who were very much like not alive by that point in the story.
Right.
Just around in the homestead, and it was a glitch and they couldn't fix it. So they're like, oh, time just doesn't matter here.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, I mean, at least they did that. Like, I kind of have a certain respect for any kind of media property where they're like, well, we can't fix this, but we have a solution, and it's that we are going to say it's part of the story, and this is what we've said, like that sort of thing. I have a certain respect for that.
Yeah, like that Wing Commander thing of like, well, it keeps like pushing out this error every time you close it. So they just made the error say, thank you for playing or whatever.
So good. I think that was like, was that X-Men that Sega Genesis X-Men game or whatever, where it's like reset the memory or whatever, forced you to reset the actual, you in the danger room, you have to like reset your console, and it was like to clear memory or something like that.
I don't know if that was the reason. I mean, it probably was, but I remember playing that game as a kid and being like, I don't know what the fuck it wants me to do.
Right.
Because like I had a Super Nintendo, my friend had a Genesis, and their Genesis was one like deep into the entertainment console. Like to reach it, you could like pull out cards to put them back in, but to like hit anything else was difficult.
Okay.
And also, having a Super Nintendo, I assumed the reset button was like, I didn't know it was software based. I didn't know like that it was a thing you could just do and it would that the game recognizes it as a control input.
Mm-hmm.
So like we could never get past that part for I want to say like a year and a half, 2 years, because we didn't know what it wanted us to do.
God, yeah, and like, yeah, I'm just getting into like old person talk at this point, but like if you didn't have a computer at hand to look up game facts, or if you were playing a game before game facts existed, you were shit out of luck. Or you spent like $45 to call like the Nintendo hotline, tip line, or whatever, which that is before my time, I'll say.
Yeah, that was my dream job when I was a kid.
Oh yeah?
I wanted to sit there and be on a phone and tell people how to play Zelda, which is what I basically do now, honestly. This is basically what this is, so I guess dream achieved.
That's a good point. To a certain degree, yeah. Let's get that. That seems good. More health.
Automatic Gold said Genesis got at least one solidly good X-Men game, but SNES basically had POS after POS. I don't entirely agree with that. Mutant Apocalypse is not bad. That was the Capcom
Okay.
X-Men game.
I don't think I ever played it.
It is perfectly serviceable. I wouldn't say it's one of Capcom's better games. There was a War for the Gems that came out after that, and that game was shit. That was them using Children of the Atom sprites, but like repurposing them for the SNES, which just could not handle it. And like so many, a lot of animations missing. The sprites themselves are like real slow, and the actual game is very boring.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I've ever told you this before, Imran, but I did not get deep into video games until I was kind of older. I played video games, so like, but the only time I played like the Genesis, Super Nintendo era of games, I was very young for one, because I was born in 1990, but we still had those around, particularly at my grandparents' place, and that was just like, this is what I do at my grandmother's place because there's nothing else to do here. I don't know what else to do other than go outside and play, which we did a lot of because it was on a farm and we ran around the farm a lot, and did various things there. Or I played Sega Genesis games if I was stuck inside, and so it was a lot of playing Streets of Rage, Shinobi. We had the Sega Genesis 6-in-1 pack. Columns, which was a terrible game. And that sort of thing. And then it wasn't until like the PlayStation 2 era that I was like, holy shit, video games are like real, you know? Like video games can say things and do things. And it's like, I specifically remember playing Shadow of the Colossus and crying at the ending and like, oh wow, this has meaning to me in a way that like those other things don't.
So my moment with that was, and this is not at all the same way or same emotional response.
Okay.
It was Mega Man X when I was a kid. Was when I first played that game and like played through the opening level, I realized people make the like it's a thing you know, but it was a thing of like, oh, people make video games, they make decisions and design things, and like there was somebody who made this one like gap, because there's like a specific gap after you kill the Hornet ship thing. It like crashes the bridge.
Right.
Like if you don't know how to jump onto walls, because that was not a thing in Mega Man 1, and it's not like, you know, it explained it to you in Mega Man X. Like there was no tutorial for it. It was this thing telling you you can't leave this small enclosed space until you figure this thing out. And that is what made me realize, wait, so like this is like TV shows or books or movies or whatever, and that somebody made a decision of how to do this.
Right.
And like I think that's when I started being like, video games are cool. Like I can kind of get behind this as a medium now, as opposed to just a time waster or like a fun distraction.
Right. That was like, it was straight up I didn't play Mega Man X1 for many, many years. I played some X4 on PlayStation 1 because my aunt bought it for me as a birthday present once. And I really enjoyed that. But I was actually, Mega Man X was another game where I did also have a moment of like, oh wow, so much thought went into this. And it wasn't from playing it. It was from watching an Ego Raptor video on YouTube in like middle school, talking
Oh, I
about
remember that.
Yeah, real okay. I
Yeah.
feel like that video was like popular, right?
Yeah.
It went around.
I think that's basically what launched his career.
Oh,
that
really?
Video. But yeah, like it was such a. I remember having a very specific memory of when the N64 came out that I knew who Miyamoto was,
Oh, okay.
and I think that maybe because I was just like I like read a lot of gaming magazines, and specifically one of them was Next Generation, which talked about developers and names, and like they were very industry focused. So I think that's what helped me like kind of realize that, but that's also what probably led me to working in games, is that there's a cast of characters to it.
Right.
So, like there are people who like you can look at the industry holistically and also look at individual games, and they're like they feed into each other. It's not mutually exclusive.
Yeah. Like that's cool. I like that. I like that your like early story starts with realizing that people are behind these games, because it speaks to like a certain. You say that like we know people make video games, but I don't know. There's a lot of people out there who sure don't act like it. They don't have that kind of empathy behind a lot of the things that they feel about video games in the way that I feel like you do.
Like, to pull the curtain back a little bit, that's actually been a bit of a struggle with the Activision stuff. Of like I want to, in every article that mentions Activision, to talk about how shitty Activision is. But also, there are people who make these games, and I know some of the people who make these games, and it is difficult to, like, I want to be encouraging to them in their career.
Right.
But also, like, I also want to say, maybe don't buy an Activision game. Like,
Right.
maybe, like, everyone has their own personal lines and limits and boycotts and all that, and, like, you should never do a boycott if you're going to do anything else besides just be your personal moral line. But this should be a moral line for a lot of people. And I think a lot of peers did a video that was like, she asked a bunch of people who worked at Activision Blizzard, would you want people to boycott your game? And the vast majority said no.
Right.
But it's also still like, yeah, but there's no way to send that message then.
Yeah, it is super. I mean, it's a consequence of capitalism. It's like the belief that like your choice, that like if you could just funnel your power down, your choice is in what you buy and what you don't buy, and like that it's feels like, I mean, to a certain degree that's true, because it's like what we've been funneled into through like capitalism as in general, but like also it's kind of an illusion and kind of a lie unto itself, because it's like, no, there should like actually be other stuff, because that is just funneling you into the choice that you have to engage with capitalism as well, and it's just like that's the trap to a certain degree, like is tricking you into believe that is the only possible way to have power, is that having power means working within the system where you already lose because somebody has $1 billion and you don't, and they win automatically. Sorry, like to a certain degree.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm rambling.
No, I think we're all kind of in a rambly state of mind recently.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of this is stuff that like most people are not equipped to deal with in this industry.
Yeah. Much
you
like
feeling,
these
Steven?
guys. I'm feeling pretty good. Killer Croc is here. I love him. I'm probably gonna wrap up after this mission. We'll see how long this mission actually goes.
Yeah.
I figured I would go an even 2 hours. That's usually what I do. And this one's timed, so I'm assuming that this mission might be a little bit quicker than that last one. How are you feeling, Imran?
I'm feeling good. I've not done one of the streams in a while. So I've been thinking about, at some point, when, like, after I finish moving and things calm down a little bit, pandemic-wise, maybe taking, like, vocal coaching.
Oh!
Because, like,
Appreciate it, Jack.
even an hour on a stream takes more out of my, like, voice than I probably want it to. So I'm kind of like, maybe I should start learning how to speak from the diaphragm like broadcasters do.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I went through a lot of that stuff when I was a kid. That was like a big thing for my parents, is like my parents really, really, really wanted me to go to speech lessons and stuff, because I think they were just like very afraid of public speaking early on. So like a lot of things, I'm sure this is the true for like a lot of different parents in general, but like a lot of my parents' decisions about me were just like, I hated going through this and dealing with this when I was a kid, so you're gonna go through this. You're going to years of braces. I sat through years of braces and headgear and all that shit because my dad had bad teeth growing up, and paid for it later. So that was a big thing. And then I think similarly it was, oh my god, they really chewed him up. Similarly it was with public speaking, because I think early on they were afraid of public speaking.
So I had literally the opposite issue, where my dad is a public speaking professor, and he is considered an expert on the subject. He's written several books. So I didn't learn any of that. It just never came. Like he had no interest in teaching me that stuff, and like that's fine.
It's like, yeah, this is easy. What's the problem?
And I did not expect that I would needing to be talking this much in my career. But yeah, it's a thing that probably could have been taught to me when I was younger. My dad, he was very insistent that I learn like literature and writing and all that stuff as a kid.
Oh,
like
okay.
when I was 3 years old, I at that point I don't think I knew how to read. He handed me a book. He handed me All the President's Men. He's like,
The President's Men.
So I read that, and honestly, again, I guess we're getting like origin stories here, but like that's what made me want to be a journalist. Was, like,
really?
Over the years, when I was able to read that book, I was like, okay, this actually seems really cool, because the person that seemed like the most unassailable person in the world was the president, and I was like, so journalists took down the president. That's really cool. That is interesting. Like, and that made me want like, I think when I went into college, I did go into college for an English major. And I eventually transferred to a different college, and then I met one of my dad's friends, who was another professor, and she led the journalism department, and she was like, "You would actually be really good in journalism. Please, transfer to my department." So I did, and that's kind of how I ended up in this stuff. But like, it's I can see why my dad wanted me to go that route, but there's like other skills I wish he had also imparted into me.
Right. Yeah. I think that if it hadn't been that, it would be another, though, right? There's always something that you, going back, you wish that you had.
And I think, like, if my partner and I ever have kids, I don't know, like, with both their parents being game journalists, like,
right?
What are they just gonna hate video games? Is that what's gonna happen?
Yeah, that's how they rebel. They're just like, fuck Halo.
No, I don't want to play the Xbox. You play the Xbox.
I'm reading over here, Dad. Oh my god.
I'm here.
To me, the thing with like game journalist parents is that I'm always worried about is just like, I don't see it very often, but every so often I do hear people talking about like very much worrying and hemming and hawing over like, what's the first game I'm going to introduce my kid to? And it's just like, don't worry about that, please. Like, just let your kid kind of be interested in what they're interested in. Don't like worry about like, should I let them play Super Mario or skip straight to modern games?
No, yeah, like, if you're ever thinking, I want to introduce video games to someone, like, it doesn't have to be a kid, but a kid is, like, way worse at this because your kid doesn't care.
Right.
But I want to introduce video games to someone, what should I choose? Like, the answer should come from what they want, are more interested in first.
Right.
And then you can, like, start thinking about, okay, maybe this is a good suggestion. If it's, this game was important to me, thus I want these people to experience that too, you've already, like, failed this endeavor.
Yeah. There we go. Okay.
Yes.
I will almost certainly never have kids, so I'm not going to have to personally worry about it.
Yeah. I am in a similar, but, you know, still wavering boat, but...
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. Oh, Gabe, you can't do anything over here. So I think, is Gabe Dom's dad? Is that his lore here?
I don't know. Let's look it up.
I forget Dom's last name.
There was a brief moment where I wanted to say Toretto, and I was like, wait, no, different thing.
No, you're right. There's a guy named Dom Toretto. I mean, it would not surprise me one single bit if there was a crossover with Gears and Fast in the Future, in like the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
If like Dom Toretto became a playable character in Gear 6, I would believe it.
Batista's already in this like series, and
Yep.
he is just Batista. Like, which is interesting. He's Batista, but they spell it wrong.
Really?
So I don't know if it's like did they just spell it wrong initially and they just never fixed it, or
Well, they spelled it differently when he was originally wrestling, I want to say.
okay? Because I want to say like his actual name has a U, and in Gears they don't have the U in there.
And I want to say, I can't actually remember which way it was, if they took the U out or added the U. I think they took the U out when he was wrestling originally, so that maybe they're using his old WWE name?
That would be strange, but
Yeah.
yeah. Gabriel Diaz is the father of Kate Diaz.
Oh, right. Okay. Because she is, yeah. She's like the main character of 5.
Yes. Which I should go back and actually like play at some point.
Me too.
Yeah. My friend and I, we start every Gears game, and then we'll like play a couple of hours and go like, all right, cool, let's play this again, and then just don't for Gears.
Uh-huh.
So like, I think we finished Gears 4 literally right before Gears 5 came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Reporting in.
He's getting an attack of opportunity, which I think cancels my move, so I don't want to do that. I played Gears 4. I don't even remember. There's such a weird thing where I have so many games that I really want to play and really want to get around to and really need to get around to. And then I just play absolute garbage that I do not remember one bit about, like, for some reason. Like, I get it in my head every once in a while that I just need to beat a bunch of video games in a very short span of time, usually towards the end of the year. Because I just, like, there's some dopamine shot that I get from, like, the sensation of crossing it off my backlog.
Mm-hmm.
So I beat Gears 4. I couldn't tell you I remember there's robots that you fight, and Marcus is old, and he goes, "Ah, my tomatoes!" And that's all I remember. And there's, like, so many games like that. There was also just a time there where I was reviewing so many games for Ars Technica back and forth all the time. That I guess Wingman again. So many of those just like washed over my back.
Yeah, I all I remember about the game is I played it co-op, and I was the second player,
Save everyone quickly.
which means in the final boss fight, only the first player really gets to do anything.
Really?
So like I could stand there and shoot or whatever, but like there's a bunch of like QTE like actions that are only for the first player.
Oh wow, that's
So
wild.
I like kind of had to sit there and watch him like
Rescue commencing.
hit the climactic blow on the final boss.
That's so weird. I played that game. I do remember I played that game solo, so I didn't realize that.
Throwing a grenade.
Ooh. I also always just I think you and I have talked about this on like maybe 99 Potions or something, where I'm just like, I think it's kind of a bummer that there's a Gears 4 and a Gears 5.
Yeah. Did you ever see that quote about how they came at the idea of Gears 4 being a continuation of Gears like
No,
3?
I don't think so.
I'll look up the actual quote, but the gist of it was like,
owe you one,
we
Jack.
thought about making an anthology on a different planet with different characters and all that, but then we decided, no, people really want to come back to Marcus and Dom and all
Right,
that. So
okay.
and I remember reading that quote, being like, no. always, if you have a new idea for new characters, you should do that.
Yeah, especially on a hardware generational jump like that. That's your moment. That's your time.
Yeah. Also, they should have called that game Gears of 4.
Yes, they should have. Well, now it's just Gears, right? They've completely dropped the of anything, I think.
Yeah. God, who was that? Who used to be the head of Gears Studio? Because I talked to him at one point, and I was like, why is this just Gears 5 now? It's like, I wanted to do this before. Like, I wanted to remove that by Gears 4.
Okay.
Now, he used to be at Epic, and now he went to Blizzard working on Diablo, so his career's going great.
Ooh.
No, I'm sure it's totally
I'm
fine.
sure it's probably fine, but yeah.
But yeah, it is... I can't remember his name for the life of me. I'll figure it out. But yeah, they definitely did not need to continue the Gears story quite the way they did. Like, once you actually go to Marcus's like mansion and like, oh, Marcus is joining you. Like, oh, this is not a creative story at all.
They pull the weird, like, grumpy old men thing at the end, too, where, like, Baird and Cole show up and they're, like, old, like, oh, they're fun-loving guys. They're in a helicopter. Look at these old rascals getting back into trouble.
You know the thing I hate in, like, time skips with, like, oh, this, like, we played this character before and now he is, like, a CEO or like the major inventor of the world.
Uh-huh.
Like he created all these things. Like when they did that with Barrett, I'm like, really? He couldn't have just been a dude? Like why? I understand these are the people who are responsible for saving the world. They're probably some degree of heroes, but like, it's very rare that like those people become the head of the world in some way.
Right. Oh god, yeah. Like I guess that's Marcus. Marcus is just kind of running a farm, right? He just wants to be left alone.
But also he owns like a 3-mile mansion.
But he's like rich, right? Because his dad was important.
I think it's his that and Anya, whom he married, was like president or something.
Oh my god, I forgot about all the Anya stuff, the weird romance that they do, and like the weird like extended universe, like Anya is like can't have kids thing. Do you remember that?
No, that is news to me because they have a kid, right? They have what's his name, JD.
JD, is that Marcus's kid?
Yeah.
I thought there was a whole thing. There was. I remember that at the time there being a thing about like a Gears of War tie-in comic that established that during that era, women weren't allowed to fight because if they were allowed to have kids, because they needed to be like left behind to have kids to repopulate the Earth. And then 4 references that because they have like one of Kate's friend, I think, sees a propaganda poster for it and is like, man, fuck this shit, fuck that. That's what they want women to do in this world. And I could have sworn that the reason Anya was allowed to fight after that point was that Anya was unable to have kids. So any woman that who's not allowed able to have kids is allowed to fight.
So looking it up, you're correct. That did happen. The answer is there's no answer. They haven't even bothered to kind of explain it. So it just sort of happened.
Okay, all right. You know,
these are from 2 years ago, so if Gears 5 explained it, then I have no idea.
That's true. That's a good point. You know, like, it is a plot point that honestly probably is just maybe better left unaddressed in a lot of ways.
Maybe just the thing, like, I don't know. It just happened. Just accept it.
Uh-huh. Whatever, like, they've got lambent and weird genetic stuff. Like, they cloned a kid.
The theory appears to be when they wiped out the emulsion at the end of Gears 3, that cured her for some reason.
What?
That is what the theory on Reddit is on this thing
What? Oh! We blew up these oil fields and it cured sterility across the planet. Oh my god.
I mean, it's very convenient. Like,
it would be. Video games are dumb.
They're incredibly dumb.
I think I just need to get over there and extract, and then I'm out. What are you playing right now, Imran? Anything you can talk about that you're interested in?
I don't know what I'm playing right now because like I just finished Great Ace Attorney last night, and now I'm like currently in that like, well, I want to play something, but I don't know what. Yeah. And like I think if I play something similar, I'm gonna just compare it to Great Ace Attorney, which by the way I really loved. I really enjoyed that game. So I might go for something a bit more actiony, just not sure what yet.
There's that Ghost of Tsushima expansion that I put out a review of today.
Oh yeah, I played that enough to like, oh, this looks real nice on my OLED, and it's like, all right, I'll play this later.
It's I will say the main campaign of the new Tales of Icky stuff is like not particularly long. You can basically knock it out in one sitting.
Okay.
But there's a bunch of side quests. Yeah.
I was kind of hoping for a bit like a meteor expansion, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not small, but it's not. I don't know. I was expecting it to be slightly bigger. I was thinking of like. I was comparing it to the Horizon expansion, the Horizon Zero Dawn expansion, and I feel like that was way bigger and like had much more to say in a way. I do like this expansion a good bit, but it is definitely not of that level. I don't think.
Yeah.
Not today, grub.
I'm very much in that same mode though. Recently, like I beat Death's Gambit, not Death's Gambit, Death's Door.
Oh yeah, I've also beaten that recently. I sat down over the weekend. I was like, I'm just gonna finish this.
Oh, okay, you just beat it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do all the like extra stuff or anything. I may do whatever that post game boss is, even though I hear they're pretty easy.
Yeah, they're not. It's not. Yeah.
But I thought that the end of that game was fine.
Yeah.
I think some of the boss fights, like some of those enemies have moves that just track you, and it can be very, very frustrating.
Mm-hmm. I like that game a lot. I think it's like 90% of the way to being like a shoe-in for my top 10, and it just doesn't clear that last 10%.
Yeah.
Like
I can see that.
There's just
Grubs are on the move.
the tone of it is like 90% of the time the tone is like really good, and then sometimes they'll just like make a weird like office joke about like that like early joke with the Lord of Doors having like a coffee mug that says like world's #1 lord, and it's like, what is this saying? Like, what is this saying about this world in any way that is like meaningful or interesting? Like, and there's just that post-game stuff is not enough for me. There's like one boss, and then it's just like kind of you do a bunch of puzzles to get some cutscenes.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if this was a bit more meaty and a bit more interesting at the end, and like, the final, if it was like, that was another game I kept comparing to another game, which was Hollow Knight, a whole bunch. And I was thinking about like the post game of Hollow Knight and all that stuff, and it's like, that's a hell of a thing.
Yeah, I feel like this could have been benefited from like a game that came out on PC, gets some DLC over a year, and then comes out on like consoles and Switch, and that's the time everyone starts paying attention to it. Similar to Hollow Knight, or a little bit like Hades. But like I feel like that the pacing was a bit off, because once you kill Betty, the Yeti,
yeah,
I feel like there should have been another dungeon, and there's not. You just kind of go straight to the last boss fight.
Right. Other than the post game stuff, which kind of has some extra. It's not really extra dungeon stuff. It's a lot of busy work, honestly, Imran.
Yeah, I know. I've heard about like finding owls and things like that. That's not a great time.
No. It's just a bummer, like, because I like that game a lot, but again, it's like 90% of the way there.
Right. It's like it is a good game, and it's just in some ways I wish it were more.
Yeah.
And I think that thought is like overriding over a lot of its virtues.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yep. It's easy to forget how much fun you have with it when you think about like how much it could have done better.
Yeah. Do you
So
have like a Game of the Year frontrunner or anything so far?
Subnautica Below Zero is up on my list. I don't know if you've played the first game at all.
Support on hand.
I did, and I got scared.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. It is actually like a pretty like I wouldn't call it a horror game intentionally, but like the ocean's fucking scary.
Yeah, totally. You're not wrong. Like that first game especially. I think the second game dials it back a little bit, but yeah, the first game, when you have to like go to the wreckage for the first time and get past your first Leviathan, it's fucking wild. It's really, really spooky. Subnautica Below Zero, Death's Gambit. Oh, God, not Death's Gambit. Death's Door, different game. Might sneak its way onto into my number 10 spot or something at the way that this is going. Great Ace Attorney. I still need to beat the second game, but it is looking pretty high on my list.
Wait, you haven't beaten the second game yet?
No, I had to drop it off a little bit for what you call it.
Okay.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, it is a lot of hours, but
yeah,
those last three chapters are, I think, probably the best in the series.
Yeah, I'm on the third, I think, right now, and it's pretty good so far.
Yeah, I think that's where like it picks up and kind of just doesn't let go.
Ooh, good. Okay, I like a lot of what they're throwing at me. I've just met some new characters. I've just met the head of the forensics team.
Yeah, she is cool. She has a cool design.
Yeah, I really like her design. I love all the designs of the characters in Great Ace Attorney. Like, I think that game does the wacky 2D Looney Tunes art that they did for the first 4 games so well in 3D. It like recreates that in 3D so well.
Yeah, I think I went back and I was looking at footage of Ace Attorney 6. I think what they were doing for those games is they were trying to emulate the sprites with 3D models. But like I think Greatest Attorney just like, no, they're 3D models, just let them animate.
Yeah.
I think that works way better.
They're so rubbery and like there's so many good like shots, especially I think in the first game of the 2 of like Ryunosuke when he like slaps his face and like his lips jiggle with the impact and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
it feels so alive. I love that. I might go back to that right now, in fact, and go play that. But I think we're gonna call it there for tonight on Gears Tactics on Hardship Troopers. Thanks to Merritt for sticking around. Thanks for Nikki for sticking around. And Imran, thank you for sticking around to the end.
Thanks for showing a good time.
Yeah, thank you. Like it wouldn't have been as good a time without you, honestly. And it wouldn't have been as good a time without all of the viewers. Thank you all so much for listening. You can find all of our stuff on fanbyte.com. You can find us on Twitter at StevenStrum. Well, it's all in the follow us on Twitter thing, but I'll just say Imran's real quick too, at Imran ZoMG. Always got to say the ZoMG. Natalie's not here to do it for me.
The ghost of Natalie possesses you.
Well, we got to get Natalie on one of these streams here in the near future.
Yeah.
Oops. I clicked away to the other tab for a minute, and this game hates that, and it starts making everything run poorly. So sorry about that, everybody. Anyway.